Ever since it premiered back in 2014, Star Wars Rebels has been my favorite Star Wars series. The Clone Wars and The Mandalorian are both great, but nothing has resonated with me on such a consistent basis as Rebels did as I watched new episodes every week growing up. I grew up with these characters, and they all have a very special place in my heart. While The Clone Wars may have some great episodes like the Siege of Mandalore, but also some below average ones from the first two seasons, I found Rebels to be consistently solid storytelling on a weekly basis, full of family, action, comedy, emotion, and interconnected stories. For those unaware of what Star Wars Rebels is, it's an animated television series set during the time frame between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, following a motley group of rebels who lived aboard the starship Ghost as they fight the Galactic Empire. The rebels include Ezra Bridger, a young orphan from Lothal who learns he can use the Force, Kanan Jarrus, a Jedi who survived Order 66, Harrison Dula, a Twi'lek pilot and veteran resistance fighter, Sabine Wren, a Mandalorian explosives expert, Garrett Zeb Aurelius, a Lasat warrior, and the cantankerous astromech droid C-110P, also known as Chopper. Star Wars television has finally become widely popular among fans with the success of The Mandalorian and Andor, but there are still fans unwilling to give the animated side a shot. Most Star Wars fans that I talk with aren't convinced that the animated shows are mature enough for them, and if they are willing to take the time and watch a few episodes out of one of the shows, more than likely it's going to be The Clone Wars, which I'll admit has some of my favorite moments and probably best moments in all of Star Wars, whether it be the Siege of Mandalore or the Return of Darth Maul. But Star Wars Rebels is right up there with The Clone Wars. It also has some of the best moments in Star Wars, and almost everyone that I know who has taken the time to watch it has come out the other side a passionate fan of the story and the characters. Whether you want more Maul stories, more Mandalorian stories, more Jedi on the Run stories, or more Vader stories, there is something that every fan can find in this series. And just like The Clone Wars, and almost every long-running show out there, it grows with its audience. So while the first season introduces the character and sees them grow together as a family, the third and fourth season are full of some of the most emotional scenes and craziest duels. So if that doesn't convince you to give this series a shot, how about this? I've got a feeling that with where the future of Star Wars stories appear to be heading, this series is going to be essential viewing to, if not understand the coming stories, at least fully appreciate them. We've already seen Ahsoka make the jump to live action in the second season of The Mandalorian, and guess what? The last time we saw her was in Star Wars Rebels. Assuming that people watching this video haven't seen the series, I don't want to spoil anything too much, but she's got a series coming this year, and where her character left off is probably going to have an impact. Heck, we might even pick up from that exact moment, so it would be good to know how she got there. Ahsoka also goes through some great character development throughout the series, so if you've seen her in The Clone Wars, and then in The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, but are missing that time in between, you'll probably be able to understand everything still, but you won't have the same appreciation for the character as other fans might. 4 more characters we know that will be making the jump to live action in the Ahsoka series: Sabine Wren, Harrison Dula, Ezra Bridger, and Grand Admiral Thrawn. And guess what? They were all introduced in Star Wars Rebels. And Thrawn's the only one of the 4 with any stories told outside of that series. So for the other 3, everything we know about them comes from those 4 seasons of television. Ezra and Sabine are 2 of my favorite characters, and that's because of the journey we see them go through during the series. We know the Ahsoka series will deal with Ahsoka and Sabine searching for Ezra and Thrawn in an unknown part of the galaxy, so you could say that these characters are going to be important to the series and the Mandoverse as a whole, or Filoniverse or whatever you want to call it. These characters are integral to the future of Star Wars, and it astounds me that some fans have yet to watch the series that literally focuses on them. And not only are they important, but they're all great characters too, so why not do yourself a favor and give yourself another 13 hours of Star Wars stories that includes some great character development, information about the Force, details about the Imperial era, the beginning of the Rebel Alliance, powerful and emotional action, and just some great overall storytelling. Let me know if this convinced any of you to give Star Wars Rebels a shot in the comments below. Remember to like the video, and subscribe for weekly coverage of The Mandalorian Season 3. As always, thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.